Okay, hello. I am about to get started on this Baltimore Oriole. So some of you were interested, so I'll just kind of go over some of this. So first of all, I have a lovely pattern with the dimensions of certain parts and drawing kind of reference. That's what I'm going to be using most to start with. And then later, when it comes to painting time, I have some reference photos, and I have some more online, but this is what came in, what the lovely Mr. Tom Baldwin gave me. And then the most important part, the chunk of wood. So this is Tupelo, which is one of the more common softer woods to carve from. It's basically like the root of one of the trees that grows in Louisiana swamp, so it's like submerged in the water a lot. The top part of the tree is not so much used for this, but anyway, he has gone ahead and cut it into a blank, which is roughly bird shaped. So this is going to inform the pose. Clearly I am going with the nose to the side because that's what we've got going here. All right, the first things we're gonna do will involve the pattern pencil and a micrometer to take it from the blank to start marking out some of these dimensions. So as I start taking wood out to get it more round and generally bird-shaped, I don't go too far. So that's next, or first, you know, whatever. So first I'll check the head. So it needs to be 22 millimeters side to side. So I'll set this to 22. It's very stiff. It's a new one. So. It's probably fine if it's off by a little bit, but why not be as exact as you can be? I'm dealing in like 0.0 millimeters. This is ridiculous. Okay, that's good enough. So clearly this head is going to get a lot taken off. So I think I'll start instead with the nose, so I make sure that that is, we've got a good center line to base it all off. And actually that's a step I forgot. I need to draw my center line. Straight through the tail, up the back, to about the shoulder, and then the head, since it's at an angle, the center line is going to be twisted. And unfortunately, this is so weird. So from our beak back. I think my beak is going to end up, that's not going to be centered on that piece, just to make the head right. Which is fine because it's going to get really narrow at the end. Okay, so there we have a center line through his body and then an adjusted center line through the head and beak. And now I can go to my micrometer and kind of center that roughly. So we've got about here to there. And then for the beak, where the beak meets the face, that's 10 millimeters. There we go. Center that. Okay. And this is going to be 17 in length. I'm not going to do too much with the length of the beak right now. Like, mostly I'm going to look at the shape of the face and then like cut the beak down and shape it as one of the last things, because they are very fragile. So best to save it for last when you're not going to be handling the bird a lot in the meantime and potentially break it off. But I just want to have an idea how much length is going to get chopped off of this thing. A good bit. All right. So that's good to know. We'll come back to that though. All right. So now I'm looking at the sideways width. It doesn't have a measurement there, but we've got all of our other dimensions for the back and all of that. So I'll go ahead and mark those so that as I'm shaping out the body, I know around where to take into account the mantle and the end of the back where the tail starts and where the rump starts and all of that. So 41 from the back of the head to the end of the mantle. I'm sure this is just riveting for all of you that wanted to see this. It'll get more interesting later, probably. Okay, 41 from the back of the head. Mantle. And then 98 to the rump. I guess I should go ahead with that 41 from the chin to the end of the chest along here. 98. Well, this is shorter than that based on my block, so we'll just have to adjust. Oh, no, that 98's from up here. Whoops. Look at the correct reference points is important. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna mess too much with that anymore right now. Okay, I think the rest of these measurements are all gonna have to be dealt with later once we start getting a bird shape going on here. So with that, I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna put my walls up on my sawdust catcher. and we're going to start making some noise. So exactly what you're doing informs which bits you want to use in your drill. Since right now we're doing a lot of shaping, taking off big chunks, I'm gonna go with this fella. It's real rough. It's not quite the same thing we get or use in the class. He has these like yellow things with burrs, but this was like a cheap set, and I think it'll do basically the same thing. And then the other thing are these small diamond tips. These are going to be used once we get into like the fine detailing pieces. So it's always fun when we get into diamond territory, but it's not going to be today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this so it's not too long, and then I will make a new one where I start carving out just a little bit of this fella, make it more round.